Look, I'm his friend, and
I know who you are.
What are all those tiny marks?
Cuticle lacerations from pulling at the wire.
Pulling at the wire. If he was pulling at the wire, he wasn't trying to kill himself. It was an accident.
In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. What you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail. Every single move we make, from the mundane to the monumental, the red light that we stop at or run, the people we have sex with or won't with us, the airplanes that we ride or walk out of. It's all part of death's sadistic design, leading to the grave.
Design. Does that mean if you figure out the design, you can cheat death?
Alex, you've already done that by walking off the plane. Your friend's departure shows that death has a new design for all of you. Now you have to figure out how and when it's coming back at you. Play your hunch, Alex, if you think you can get away with it. But remember, the risk of cheating the plan, of disrespecting the design, could incite a fury that could terrorize even the Grim Reaper. And you don't even want to fuck with that, Mac Daddy.
Okay then. Well, yeah. I'm sorry we broke in and...
No harm. No foul. I'll see you soon.
All right. I didn't want to edit any of Tony Todd out because we're not going to get much more of him. Maybe this last time we ever see him is this week, in fact.
This week? Why?
We're doing Final Destination this week because...
Oh, I see.
The new Final Destination movie comes out this week. And it's also the 25th anniversary of Final Destination this year.
Okay. Mark's here.
Hello there. The immediacy with which you pass any responsibility off is never not impressive to me.
Thank you. Hello, Mark.
Hi there, Pete.
What's new and exciting?
I'm here doing the podcast.
Ooh, it's not new or exciting.
It's definitely new. I don't know how you'd argue it isn't
He was
new.
here once before.
But he's not. But he wasn't here
Twice before.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It's even less new. It's just old now.
Oh, wow.
Boring.
All right. Well, so quick housekeeping. This is the third time I'm trying to do this. We have an upcoming watch along for Friday the 13th Part 7 coming up, and we recorded it months ago. We are aware that the actress playing telekinetic Tina has passed away. It is not brought up because we didn't know that. We knew it when it happened, which was months after we recorded. I guess I think Pete killed her.
I wasn't aware till a couple of minutes ago when we tried this the first time and you told me the news. Then I was aware.
Well, it's not news anymore, Pete. It's old.
Oh.
You already knew it.
I don't think I did.
Well, you did. Nope, you knew it once before.
I see what you're doing, and you're correct, sir. Your logic is impeccable.
All right. I don't even know where to start. What are we doing here? Oh, we watched Final Destination. I hope. I don't. I saw it stuck in an hour and 6 minutes for about 6 weeks on Pete's watch thing, so I'm not 100% he watched. I know he watched an hour of it.
I did, and guess what? I finished it.
Nice.
About an hour ago.
Nice.
Wrapped it all up.
So it'll be fresh in your memory. What do you remember from Final Destination, Pete?
Well, I'm really glad you played that Tony Todd part because I kind of forgot he was in the movie because he was only there for a minute, and that was way in the first hour. And who can remember that? That's like 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Then what else do I remember? There was a plane that blew up, and there were a bunch of people. I think one of them got hit by a bus, and then I believe I can't remember who died, but I think it was a lady. And because when I started it again, a house was blowing up, and Stifler was on his bike, and he's like, "Hey, buddy," whatever the Devon Sawa guy, what's the name was. He's like, "Hey," and then he blew up, but I don't remember who was in the house that blew up and what happened. And then I saw the rest of the movie.
Okay. Mark, when's the first time you saw Final Destination?
Oh man, the first time it was probably a couple of years after it was released in theaters. Definitely wasn't one that I went and saw in the theater.
I don't remember if I saw this in the theater.
You did. I went with you.
It doesn't.
I remember.
That actually doesn't prove anything.
That was the only time I've seen Final Destination. I guess it's still the only time I've ever seen it all in one sitting.
Hearing
at
your
the theater with
recap of a movie that you allegedly finished watching an hour ago, I'm not convinced that your 25-year-old memory is going to be accurate on this.
I watched it. They get off the plane, and then for some reason, Death chases them.
For some reason, it's not a major plot point.
No, it doesn't seem to be. He just always. Tony Todd told us you're not allowed. He's got a plan, right? Right.
He has a design.
Yeah, Mark's nodding. He knows what's up. He knows about Death's design.
Did you follow along the franchise as it went on?
I definitely have watched 2. I don't think I watched past 2.
2's a good one.
That's the one with the logs.
I think
I
one.
still have the PTSD from the logs.
Yeah, 2's got the best opening. I think 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all perfectly fun, watchable movies to throw on and be like, oh, that was a lot of fun. And the 4th one's kind of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. What do you think of it? Like, as a whole, the movie. I assume you like it because you said it was a good one.
I think I said it was a fun one to throw on and watch.
I mean, my initial, watching it for this was almost like watching it for the first time because it's been so long. But my initial reaction in the beginning is they're so heavy-handed with this plane's about to blow up. It's doesn't even count as foreshadowing, but I think might have actually been kind of the point.
I don't know. I would like to go back and see the original marketing. I mean, I could have done that, so I guess I didn't want to. But I wonder how much they leaned in the marketing into that the plane crash was going to open the movie. Because I wonder if they could have just made a trailer around this impending disaster, and then you get there and it's 15 minutes in, you're like, okay, wait a minute. Everybody I know just blew up.
That would have been really good marketing.
Yeah, I should go back in time and tell them that 25 years ago. It's possible they used it. I don't even know what.
Nope, it was the airplane blowing up. I remember that was the big thing because I knew about that even before we saw the movie.
Does your memory just only work when it's in the past? You could have sharp memories of watching a trailer 25 and a half years ago, but you don't remember what happened in this movie now.
Well, memory is a funny thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
He's explained before he has to get rid of memories if he makes a new one, so he just holds on to the ones he has. I didn't know that one of the ones he was clinging to was watching the trailer for Final Destination sometime in mid-2000.
That's a good one.
Where were you? Oh, it was a bright, sunny summer afternoon.
No, that's one of the things I got rid of. Probably learning my kid's name or something.
Maybe it was one of the trailers of The Matrix or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember those. Stupid kids and their names.
Everybody loves The Matrix. I saw The Matrix once before it came out when they were putting screenings up all over for critics, and I got in because I had a friend that worked at the theater, a Regal in Ohio, and I fell asleep almost immediately in the movie, and I woke up and they were on a rooftop with helicopters and stuff, and I was like, I think I missed some stuff. And everybody's walking out of the movie going, that is the best fucking movie I have seen in my life. And I'm like, fuck, I think I missed a good one. And I never watched it again.
Wow, really?
I just never that interested in watching it again.
Wow.
So that's me sleeping through a movie that became a cultural icon and never bothering to go back and check on it. Seeing the first print of it, and I was just like, I don't care.
I did have to harass a friend for 10 years because he had never saw The Matrix.
I had to drive to Toledo for that. I was in Bowling Green, and I drove up to Toledo, which is a 45-minute drive on the thruway, if I remember right. But I was so tired because I had to work that morning. I had school that morning. I had work that afternoon, and I got up there, and I was just like, yeah, it sounds great. The movie's not coming out till Christmas or whatever, or Thanksgiving. And I was like, all right. And I was up there so fucking tired. Missed the entire movie. I was never curious to go back. But I don't remember there being a trailer for Final Destination. That was the end of the story.
I saw The Matrix, and then the next day I saw The Mod Squad.
Oh, wow. I never saw either of those movies.
Yeah. All right.
So I take it you
story.
didn't like Final Destination?
I was trying to think if it's a fun movie to put on or not, and I never landed.
To argue with me for saying exactly those words?
Yeah, probably. But how I judge movies that are fun, and I don't know. Maybe I just don't like Devon Sawa so much.
That's horrible. He's great.
What is he in? I don't think I know him other than from this
Well,
movie.
he was in Idle Hands.
I don't think I saw Idle
The
Hands.
year before this, he was in this. He's in the Chucky TV show. He was
I
in
haven't seen that.
Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. I know you haven't watched it because you hate Bruce Campbell.
How dare you?
He was in Hard Eyes, which is the day we're recording this, streaming on Netflix now.
Hard Eyes?
Hard Eyes. It's
Hard
a
Eyes.
Valentine's Day killer.
Nope.
We talked about it on this podcast, but we didn't talk about it in 2000, so I'm not surprised you don't remember it.
All right. Well, maybe it's him. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline.
We'll go through step by step what happens in the movie in a second. But Mark, what do you think it's a fun movie to put on, or do you agree with Pete that he doesn't know how he feels about a movie that he watched over the course of 6 weeks?
I do think it's a fun movie to put on. I started in the beginning. I was wasn't quite into it in the beginning, but as the story progressed, I got more kind of into the spirit of what they were doing, and I enjoyed it.
It was the teacher. That's who blew up in the house.
Good job, Pete.
Thanks. See? He gives me encouragement and validation.
He was mocking you.
What?
Would I do that?
Betrayal. Yeah, he would. Yeah, Brian. He would never do that. Anyway.
Would I do that is what a philosophical Urkel would ask. Now we're back.
Anyway.
I would like to spend this entire podcast talking about how one of the characters' names is Clear Rivers.
Okay,
I'm
so glad you brought that up.
They just got that through and left it in there, and nobody questioned it for 25 years, I feel, until this moment.
They all had names?
Well, I swear they were calling her Claire the whole time.
Yeah, they're not. It's Clear Rivers.
And I saw her name next to Ellie Lauder and I'm like, Clear Rivers? Are you kidding me?
We were just so much more accepting of stuff pre 9/11. Because when I heard it, I knew it. And somehow I knew it too. But when I watched the movie, I was like, now I'm annoyed. It wouldn't bother me as much if it wasn't made in 2000. If it was made now and there's people walking around called Clear, I'd be like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking weird names out there. But Clear Rivers, your parents hate you, which I guess actually fits the character. Never mind. It's actually pretty good writing, actually, now that I think about it.
I was going to say that. It explains why she's such an outcast.
Yeah.
Well, there was River Phoenix. That's a weird name.
Yeah, that family's fucked up.
What? Joaquin? Mm-hmm. That's normal.
Yeah, remember the 3 years he spent just being a wacko on TV, just walking around, be like, I'm a wacko.
Wasn't he doing that for some movie that he was making, and he was doing the stay in character thing?
Yeah, it really paid off, didn't it? Can't remember the name of the movie. It's called I'm Still Here.
Oh,
but
I thought it might have been the Joker.
No, he was good as a Joker.
I saw the part 2, the one with.
I haven't.
You haven't seen it? I'm curious what you think.
It's a musical, so there's parts of it I might like.
Well, I think you know how I feel.
No, I don't, because you say things like, I hate this, and then you're like, but I like that one, and that one, and that one, and that one.
My guess is pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
I like it one way, but then if you try to tell me it's something else, then I don't like it anymore.
I thought it went on too long.
The second one?
Yeah. If it was a bit shorter, it would have tightened it up. Might have been
I'll
a little
agree
more
with
palatable.
that. It was more than 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
I'm a pretty big fan of the first one. I heard that the second one wasn't going to give me anything I wanted from what I liked in the first one. I was like, all right, then I'll set it aside and I'll get to it one day. Is it streaming on Max or something yet?
I think that's where I saw it.
Yeah, and I'll probably see it soon.
I certainly didn't pay for it.
I'm still sitting there going, I got to watch Andor and I got to watch Shogun.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't, Andor's almost over for season 2. And I'm like, I haven't started season 1 yet, so I don't know what to do. And I know next week everyone's going to be talking about Andor because it's probably going to have an incredible ending. And I'm going to be like, great, I'm only 24 episodes behind.
I'm still behind on Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's weird because I finished those immediately because they're the easiest things to watch in the world. I don't have to pay attention. They're just fun.
You got to catch up for Cobra or
Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah, I know, but I got to watch them with Sam again because I've watched the first 3 Karate Kid movies, and I guess I can ignore 4 safely. And then now we got to start the show all the way back at 1.
Well, we veered off topic because I want to talk about how her name is Clear Rivers. I'm a writer. I write stuff. And I could tell you as a fact, the hardest thing in writing, no matter what anybody tells you, is coming up with fucking character names. You know how I write 5 reviews a week, Pete? The characters already have names.
It makes it easy.
It makes it so much easier.
That's
You'd
the
be
trick.
stunned. Because I will sit there and I'll be like, I'll have detailed, long, feature-length ideas all worked out. And I'll be like, but what is their name? And then I'll sit there for 7 years going, guess I'm not writing that. That's true. That's actually true.
Guy, Fella, Abraham Lincoln. These are all names you can use.
I'm just saying I'm offended that they got this script through when they picked a name like Clear Rivers.
I actually think Abraham Lincoln might be copyrighted.
By who? Probably Washington,
The
right?
United States of America.
Is Adolf Hitler taken? I don't know nobody's using it.
I think that one might be in the...
Public domain. Well, if it was in the public domain, we'd have seen a bad low-budget slasher made on it already, so we haven't. Mm-hmm. That's most of my lifetime was watching bad low-budget public domain slashers. And then I saw a good one called Death of Snow White. And it wasn't a slasher movie, but it was like a dark fantasy reimagining of Snow White, and it added 2 things to the story that I thought, those are incredible additions to the story.
What were they?
It changed what True Love's kiss was, So apparently, in this story, Snow White's mother was poisoned. Oh, no, they poisoned the baby when she was being born. And True Love's kiss, because the mother's love for her was so true, was able to take the poison away, and she died. So when the prince saves her, he has to sacrifice himself to save her with True Love's kiss. And I was like, that's actually moving as fuck. And there's other, like the other second thing they added was backstory between the dwarves and what the world was before the evil queen took over and had her mother killed. And tried to kill Snow White and had her mother killed. That they were part of a deeper family thing and a good kingdom, and the kingdom has become overruled by the evil thing. And I was like, so when they're fighting it off at the end, I was like, this is fucking great, because it's more of a bloody action movie kind of. Very low budget, but fun. And I was like, these two things made Snow White better. Like, that's how you should make these movies. They didn't veer from the story. They just added blood and tits and crazy stuff. But that True Love's Kiss thing was like, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
I was like sitting there going, I can't believe how good this movie is.
I read I think a Snow White version where she was a vampire, and that's why her skin was so white, and that's why she was dead. And I guess the kiss was, drinking the blood. I don't remember the story. I only read it once.
That's good too. I like those.
Yeah.
Those are good ideas. Unlike naming your character Clear Rivers. I'm never going to let it go, but I guess I'll have to because we have to move on. So let's talk about how fucking ridiculous it is that their senior class trip was to Paris.
Yeah.
Where did you go for your senior class trip?
I don't think we had one.
I was in detention. I wasn't allowed to go.
It also seemed like kind of a rural-ish town, not like...
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it definitely wasn't like Philadelphia or anything like that. It seemed kind of like in Amherst, like where we are. Like,
well, based on...
the houses were pretty big, though, so maybe there's a very affluent community.
But remember, there was a cabin in the woods within running distance of those big houses.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where that is. Somewhere close to the edge of a big city.
I'll say this. If someone got up on a flight I was on and they said the plane was going to explode, I'm getting off that plane. I didn't get on the plane, first of all, because I assume it's going to explode. But there's no sitting back down going, oh, that's strange. I guess he really was afraid of flying. And this is very obviously pre 9/11 because this guy, they're going to bury this guy under the jail if he says the plane's going to explode and then it explodes. You're never going to see him again. He's not running around the woods to a cabin somewhere. He's never been seen again. He's been disappeared.
Wait.
I mean, could it be any more clear that he's guilty? Clear Rivers that he's guilty?
No, I see what you did there, and that confused me. It made things less clear.
Like, I know that the two detectives are as easygoing as detectives could be in a major flight accident like that, because they have a man who said the plane's going to explode. It exploded, and they're like, we're trying to see your side of things. Go on home. They should have shot him, is what I'm saying. He's the obvious and only suspect.
Yes.
But why would he say it's going to explode if he's...
Didn't his plan go perfectly? He got let off the plane, and the plane exploded. He was a suicide bomber who got cold feet. So he left the pack behind, and it took care of itself.
And then he saw Godzilla.
And then everyone who got off with him was a possible witness, so he needed to have them killed because that's what he was doing. That's the lead they're tracking.
Let's talk about the people that get off the plane. More than half of them are angry at him for saving their lives. It is the strangest choice to me.
Who was the more than... I thought it was just the...
No, the teacher's like, stay the fuck away from me. Just the most unearned harbored grudge she could have that my life has been saved. And she's like, stay the fuck away from me. It's not even Survivor's Guild. It's like, I'm mad at you.
Yeah, she was. She did have like some weird...
It was
thing.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Stifler's fine with it.
Yeah.
Clear's like, I gotta fuck him. Yeah. But like, and then his antagonist is like, I hate you. And then his best friend's father's like, I hate you. And then there's the antagonist's girlfriend who doesn't seem to have any opinions of her own. She's not there for that. She's there to get by a bus. That's what she's there for. And maybe the best scene in the movie, I think.
I think that was in the trailer, too.
It was in trailer number 2?
No, possibly, but I remember her stepping into the street and the bus hitting her. That was one of the other things you saw a lot of.
They used that in the advertising for this upcoming movie this week, too. Bloodlines.
The girl stepping in, the same girl or a different one?
A different character.
Did any of these people come back for part 2?
Only Clear Rivers.
Does she die?
She does die.
Interesting.
They kill Alex, the main character, off screen. Or at least they say he's dead. I don't know. I guess he'd have to be at this point. And then Clear Rivers comes back and she's like in a padded cell somewhere, won't go outside, won't do anything. And then she comes to believe that it's past everybody and then she gets blown up. It's pretty good. The second movie's pretty good. It has these movies keep trying to find little cheats for everything. Like, you know, if you save someone's life, it'll skip you like in this one. The next one is if you die and get brought back, that's life that wasn't supposed to exist. It can't get you. Which I don't know if it means they'll live forever. They should check back in with those people.
See, That's what I thought was going to happen in this one with when he got electrocuted there at the end. And then I'm like, oh, he died, but then they revived him.
Yeah,
So I thought that
we'll
was
get to
going
that
be the...
because it didn't make any sense. But we'll get to that. It's at the end of the movie. Pete's very bad at staying in order. He's noticed maybe that I've gotten to. He's on the plane. He's gotten off the plane. He's like, what about that ending?
well, also, I didn't remember a single thing you guys were talking about because that was so long ago that I watched the beginning.
Well,
So
then just stay silent.
I'll be quiet now and learn about this movie.
His friend Todd's head is entirely too big for his body. I couldn't look at anything else while he was on screen, and I'm glad he went first.
Well, he couldn't get it out of that noose.
How could he?
No.
They
You're
picked
right.
the perfect demise for him. He's never going to get his head out of that loop because I've never seen a head that big on a body that small.
Clearly, death has a sense of humor.
Did anybody else think that, or was it just me?
I didn't think about it, but now that you've mentioned it, I am.
Yeah, Big Head Todd's the first to go.
Big head Todd.
I briefly thought when his death scene came, because that's what the series kind of becomes, is the fun of, like, how are they going to get it? And they tease and all these things. And then the water's coming out of the toilet, and he's sitting on the toilet. I briefly thought we were going to have a Coolio situation where he was going to be found dead in the toilet. And I was kind of disappointed that it didn't happen.
I appreciate that they killed him first.
Yes, because of his giant head.
I don't know. I was thinking more the best friend. It makes it really, the stakes are high. They're not picking off the antagonist first. You're going for the good friends. You're going for the love interest. But they didn't. I assume he was the love interest.
You think he was the love interest, not Clear Rivers?
Yes. Clear River.
I guess at that point, that's actually true.
I bet he gives good head. He gives head for days.
Big head.
It's a giant head. I wanted to check up and see what the actor was up to, but I was like, I didn't. I don't know what I thought he was going to be up to, but how many roles could there be for him?
Did he get Macy J. Flutes?
That's what I was thinking of. What about the Pep Boys? He could be the new one. They got big heads, right?
Models bobbleheads.
Yep.
Yep, a human bobblehead.
That's a pretty good gig if you can get it.
What do you think that pays?
Peanuts. I'm trying to remember who died next.
Well, before anybody dies, Alex and Clear Rivers break into the morgue. That's the clip we heard.
Oh, yeah.
To check out Todd's body and see if his head could actually be that big. Maybe they were hoping they waited.
And then Tony Todd was there.
Yeah, Tony Todd's
Being weird.
Tony Todd's in 1, 2, 5, and the new one coming out.
Is he anything relevant, or is he just a weird morgue guy?
Well, he's an exposition machine.
Maybe he's death.
Maybe. His name is William Bloodsworth, a name that I have zero problems with. You put Clear Rivers on there, I'm never going to let it go. William Bloodsworth is a badass name. For a creepy mortician who knows all about death.
Did the rest of them all have names?
Yeah, I told you already. There was Todd and Alex and Clear Rivers.
Which one was Alex?
Alex was the main character, Devin Sawa.
I never picked that up.
Todd was his big-headed friend.
All right.
Clear Rivers is Ellie Larder. And then the others had names I don't remember.
There was teacher. There was
Stifler. There was teacher. There was
Stifler.
Angry Jack.
Angry
Yeah,
Jack.
I'm sure I know his name. I'm
And
sure it's
then
Carter.
Bus girl.
And Carter's girlfriend, Bus Girl.
Bus girl. Yeah.
She had a bus to catch. So he's in 1, 2, 5, and 6. I don't remember why he's not in 3 and 4. But if you've never seen 5, it's a prequel to 1. It's a secret prequel.
I heard about it.
It's so cool. So it's these characters trying to figure out what's happening and survive. And unlike all the other movies, they're never talking about how, like, oh, this happened before. They keep deepening the lore. And you kind of don't notice it until you get to the ending where they survive and they get on their airplane to go to Paris. It's pretty cool. There are people that are on the plane that explode to get into this movie.
I thought that's what this movie was about, the new one coming out.
No, this one goes even further back. So, like, it's because in the trailer for it, it's an old woman talking about something she did when she was like a teenager. So it had to be like 60 years ago. This movie's 25 years old. So this would be like the origins of whatever this myth is that's killing people.
Oh, I thought you meant like dinosaur times.
Yeah, 60 years ago.
Well, no, that's when you said it goes even farther back. I was like prehistoric cavemen kind of stuff, like the real origins of it.
It's possible they'll do another one someday.
That would be cool.
Pitch it.
Yeah, Tony Todd's character is there to be an exposition machine. To say cool things in a cool voice and be like, death has a design, it's coming for you. And then they're like, oh, I learned that death has a design. It's like, you didn't learn that. You got told that by a creepy mortician who shouldn't know any more about this than you do. But he goes off on it. He's like, I'm investigating solely based on what this creepy mortician told me.
So does every group of people who are cursed come to him?
In 2 and 5, and I'm assuming 6, yes.
Okay, so he's just there, always in that morgue, chopping up bodies, and then they show up. I wonder what else he does, how many groups he goes through. Because those are just the ones we saw,
Yeah.
which seems like a lot.
And he didn't help 3 and 4, which I think is weird. He didn't actually help 1 either.
He just told them things.
Yeah, they all die. He didn't help anybody.
Well, that's what he told them was going to happen.
He did help in 2, though. In 2, he gives the advice that does save the main characters' lives.
Do they live forever, or does death
That's the
come
question
back?
I've been wondering the entire time, is that if you skip it, does death just have no more control over you? They don't get it. They don't go that deep on it. It'd be cool if that character just popped up in this one, like, don't do it. You live forever. And she's mad about that 15 years later.
But 60 years in the past.
That's not how that would work. 'Cause this would be from a movie from 2003. So it would only be 22 years ago.
2003. That's the first time I ever heard it used that way.
Because I thought it was 20 in the 10s, but it was 03, so I pivoted.
But that's how it should be used.
All
But
right.
actually, you should say it 2003. Because that's a cool way to do it.
Is that how you do it?
Of course I do.
It's not the cool way to do it.
I've heard it referred to as the aughts.
I know, but he made it not cool.
Fair.
You remember the winter of '04? Oh, it was a cold one.
The next person to go is Carter's girlfriend, whose name nobody knows.
Bus girl.
Bus girl. She gets hit by the bus. He sees a vision of a bus in a reflection of a mirror or window first, and then she gets hit by a bus. And later in the movie, this is after he's figured out Death's design. Incorrectly, I guess, but he's figured out Death's design. Later in the movie, the antagonist there, Carter, who hates him for saving his life, asks him point blank, did you know she was next when she got hit by that bus? And he goes, yes. And he's like, all right. Didn't care at all. It was so strange, the things that anger and don't anger this man. Saving my life, I'll never forgive you. Getting me kicked off that plane that blew up. My girlfriend died and you could have prevented it? What are you going to do?
But then he gets angry about it later when they're in the car.
That's when he isn't angry about it. That's when he just keeps driving like, oh, well. He gets angry. No, he doesn't get... See, I knew Pete would misread the scene. I knew it when I watched it. He doesn't get angry. He's mad that he no longer has control over his own fate. So he's decided, I'm going to take control of my fate. It's very much like Fire Walk with Me, where I'm going to be the master of my own demise because no one's going to tell me how I live and die. He's not mad at Alex for that.
That's not the way
Am I wrong?
I think you're on the right page.
I do like having a third person here because they can tell me things like that. It's never happened before. I've got to have to start asking follow-ups like that.
But he was just doing Death's design if he was trying to kill himself.
How long you got, man? Let's do a quick watch along for Lost Highway. I want to check some things out.
You'll see. Now I want you to watch it because you're going to see that I'm right.
I have a feeling we will revisit Lost Highway and a watch along at some point because I think it's inevitable that we have to have this fight just as it's happening.
He's going to tell me there's all this stuff that's happening when it's not even happening anywhere on camera. He's like, oh, and then this happened. It's like I could tell a story about going to the zoo and say, oh, yeah, that just happened.
How caught up are you on this mess?
I listened to the
The next episode of Mulholland Drive, he's saying that she made a deal, unseen deal with a secret entity, and that the hitman had unseen assistants. We didn't see any of those scenes. They don't happen on camera. And now he's like, oh, you're telling me things that didn't happen on camera happened. The next week, oh, he had a subcontractor.
But it was
He had a subcontractor.
it was all implied. You have to pay attention.
I just imagine him like Charlie and Always Sunny with the chalkboard and like tying all the strings together to try and put it.
That's how it feels in my mind. And that's what was in this movie, too, in Final Destination. Because whatever his name was, Alex Sawa. Yeah. No, that's not right. Alex. Alex had a room with all the lines and the pins and the yarn.
He gets all that information from a mortician, but also from an oddly perfectly timed news report. What was that? That is, as somebody who's tried to write things or has written things, that's lazy. That's the laziest way to do it. Just stumbling across pertinent information on a news report that happens to be happening at the moment you need it. That's as lazy as it gets.
Why overthink it?
Nothing's provided more exposition in movies than well-timed news reports.
But this wasn't just like pointing him in the right direction. It had a seating chart that he could chart where everybody was to follow the path of the fire in the plane. What is he watching that they have a seating chart so that they could show him the path the fire would go and he could be like, oh, wait, I was sitting there. She was sitting there. And here's another question I have. Technically, because he switched seats, wouldn't that have thrown the whole thing off in the first place? Because he would have intervened in someone's death because those girls died first. So didn't he already... This can't work for future ones, because if you kill somebody in future ones, you're safe. He killed those girls. He switched seats with them, and then they went. So Death's plan is so specific that, like, if you intervene for a second... Because they're all supposed to die. So would Death be angry that he intervened for what would amount to maybe 3 seconds? Because shouldn't it have skipped him? Should he just be sitting up in the air somewhere going, uh-oh?
What if Death's design was for him to switch?
That's why I don't like the way this movie did it as much as later movies, because where does that end? Why is Death's design that, but not for him to get off the plane?
What if Death didn't have any designs till after he switched the seats? Like, that's when Death was like, oh, I'm going to blow up that plane.
I heard John Denver before that happened, and John Denver in this movie is the architect of destruction.
I was going to say he might actually be Death.
Yes, I would think that's right. When you hear John Denver's song, Rocky Mountain High, you're about to die. They hear it in Paris in French. He hears it in
The bathroom stall.
The bathroom stall before they go into the plane. You hear it come on the radio before, like, everybody dies.
So this happened before the house
Oh,
blew up.
the teacher plays it on a record player.
Yeah. It's all John Denver all the time, and everybody dies. The only time anything but John Denver plays is that one cool time where Carter pulls up with his girlfriend before she gets hit by the bus, and he's playing Nine Inch Nails so that you can catch the line "Final Destination" in the song. That's "Into the Void," I think.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good song. I was pretty excited to hear it. This movie felt more like a 90s movie than the 2000s, because I know it came out in 2000, so it's right in the line. But it doesn't have that bad digital feel to it. It has that cool, like, 90s feel. Felt more like it looked like Lost Highway than it looked like The Darkness 2 years later, which was a movie that I like enough, but when you go back and watch it, it's just like, ugh.
I don't remember the CGI being particularly onerous either in this.
No, they weren't doing that stuff.
Was it all... No, there was CGI, though, but they used a lot of practical stuff still, I'm imagining.
I think it was mostly practical.
That's what makes it...
I guess when they're on fire, it's not. That's the dream. But it's a dream, so you kind of just let it go. Because you're not actually seeing him catch fire in the real world. You're seeing him catch fire in his premonition. You know what I mean? The only time you see the inside of the plane when it explodes is in his premonition. So I'm much more accepting of it looking weird than I would be if that was the actual scene of the movie.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I was going to say that even some of that stuff can still be done practically.
They could have lit him on fire, sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It doesn't sound like Pete would have a problem with it.
I don't know. Maybe I got to watch all these other things he's done.
The next person is the teacher. Pete's very proud to know that.
I didn't know that she was the next person, but she was in the house that blew up, but all the other stuff happened to her first. It was like...
She's undone by all manner of kitchen utensils.
It was pretty solid. That when you were talking about when you were watching it, how you weren't engaged with it initially and then you caught it later, that for me, I think, is the part where it really hooked me in, which made me start to think, maybe this movie isn't as bad as I remember it being, or as mid as I remember it being, because that whole death thing is great.
I mean, I felt like Death really went for the overkill on her, too.
I thought he was having fun with it. Like, the other ones were so kind of, like, serious, and this one, he was like, you know what? This is going to be silly. We're going to make some pratfalls happen. We're going to get that John Denver song stuck on the radio that apparently you all are talking about.
I'm not surprised you missed it. It only happens 8 times in the movie. The future movies play into scenes like that kitchen one much, much, much more. These scenes become their own self-contained Rube Goldberg-like things of what's it going to be. Even the trailer for the new one was like a glass breaks and falls into the ice and appears on a ledge and there's right under the trampoline. You're like, what's it going to be? And then everything kind of comes together in a way that you're like, I don't know what's going to catch everybody. And then suddenly it's a lawnmower that runs over a guy's head. And you're like, but you're watching for all the signs of what's it going to be. Because it has a lot of fun with it. And this movie doesn't have it as much because it hasn't figured it out yet.
Was it James Wan who did this? Or
What?
this
This
movie?
movie? No.
Yeah. Who was it? There was somebody. There was a name that I read.
You're the credit check guy.
I know. You think I would have written it down.
No, I wouldn't.
Somebody.
You give yourself too much credit and attribute it to us sometimes. And I'm not here for it.
Man, I don't remember who directed it. I thought it was a person.
I assume it was.
When Alex shows up to the teacher's house, because he's lurking around like a creeper,
Well, yeah.
he grabs the knife out of her, and you're like, oh no, the fingerprints. And then the house blows up 15 seconds. Why focus on it? Why pull it out in the first place? Isn't this scene supposed to tell you, like, oh, now they're going to have evidence? And then the house explodes, and it never comes up again.
No, it does come up again.
Stifler did mention it. Yeah.
Oh, Stifler mentioned.
Yeah.
He's like, you're
No, I'm talking about the police.
Oh.
Could be like putting the knife into a bag and going, got him. That's not what happens. And I'm like, then why do it? Why bother?
So Stifler can tell you later that your shoe print in the blood was like caramelized into the carpet, and your fingerprints are somehow burned into the knife too.
Well, Stifler is not qualified to be saying these things.
What was it that cut his head off?
A piece of metal under a train.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it. He's not there yet.
That's why you don't put the pennies on the tracks.
I used to believe that when I was a kid. We would go put the penny on the track, and then we'd run. Like, we'd run so far away because we thought it would derail. And it took us a really long time to ever feel comfortable doing it.
His death's fun. Stifler is next. That's when Carter decides, I'm going to end it so it can't tell
And he
me
gets
what to
real
do.
mad at Alex.
He's not mad at Alex.
He's mad that Alex says, won't tell him that he's going to die.
He's mad that Alex won't tell them who's going to die next. But Alex is wrong, so I don't think Alex actually knows who's going to die next most of the time. Because he didn't put into the equation that he moved seats.
No, he brought that up later, and
Yeah.
at that point, I had completely lost track of who
It
was
doesn't hold
supposed
up
to be
as
where.
well as the other later movies do. They put a lot of work into the design of it in later movies. I don't think they realized what was working in this movie when they made it. I think they just thought it's a fun way to do a slasher. These people are all expendable, and we're going to have a little fun with the order and how they do it and surprises. But I don't think they realized it was going to work as well as it did. And then when they started really digging down on how to make that a story, the stories become a little bit more fun. Like you see the opening of the next movie, they figured it out with the throughway death scene.
That was the opening?
Yeah.
That was also in the trailer.
Okay. Why do you know trailers in that movie? Are you only ever watching the trailers for these things?
You know what? It really, I like things to be short, and that really kind of hits all of my bases.
It's like the Cliff Notes version of a movie.
Yeah.
You can really learn a lot. Sometimes all you need to know from a trailer.
That's true, unfortunately. Like Knock at the Cabin. Did you see Knock at the Cabin?
I did, yeah.
I liked the movie. Did you see the trailer for Knock at the Cabin? What a disaster.
Get it?
No,
It was a disaster.
it wasn't a disaster movie.
It was.
No.
Knock at the cabin in the woods,
Door.
around the corner.
Knock at the door in the cabin in the woods.
Which is the last house on the left.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
I like that movie. I hated the advertising for that movie so much.
Last house on the left?
No, I like that one. They showed the rape right in it.
I've never seen the movie, either version.
Let you know right on the bat what you're getting. That was a Wes Craven movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Stifler's next. He gets hit by a piece of metal under a train, gets decapitated. That's fun. I think it'd be better if his head didn't come all the way off, if it just flopped back like it did for a second. I think if it just held there and he fell down, would have been funnier. I guess they weren't going for a joke. But it's Stifler, so I want to laugh. Stifler is just a punching bag in this movie. Because it's weird because he's coming off being the alpha cool guy, and then he's in this movie next. So you're seeing him and you have expectations that aren't fair because he's probably cast in this before that movie came out or became big. But when you see him, it's like he's a guy that would be very popular in school. You can just tell by his demeanor, and he's not. He's like a loser. Like, who casts the guy that plays Stifler as a loser? I mean, I know he's a different kind of loser in those, but he still would have been popular. Mm-hmm. And this guy would never be popular. It's very weird the levels of different unpopular people that are all in this movie. Like, Clear is an outcast. Alex is clearly has one friend and his head's too big. They don't have other friends though, and Stifler's a loser. It's weird.
So, what was Alex's problem then? Because, like, the big head was ostracized and had to choose somebody because of his big head.
I'm assuming just proximity to the big head.
No, there's got to be something. There was something wrong with Alex. He always looked sweaty in that movie. Mm-hmm. So maybe he was just a weird sweater, one of those people.
Well, he was very nervous from the beginning.
That might have been just his deal, big head and the sweat mop.
I think that there'd be a great movie here if nobody ever died. And it was just him running around being a complete sociopath. Trying to warn people about buses and John Denver songs. And then nothing ever happened. And I could watch 90 minutes of just him panicking over nothing.
That's a take. I don't know if I would watch it.
If I asked you to, you wouldn't. I know that.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I have nothing to add. What, I got stuff for the end. This is the part. Yeah, I saw the part where Stifler died.
Okay.
Then we moved on to
Alex thinks he's next. And he goes to the shack. To
Right.
stay safe, surrounded by a creepy doll I saw, lit candles, gasoline-soaked rags,
I couldn't.
nails. That's not a clear the place out, maybe, but he's just in maybe the most dangerous shack I've ever seen.
Oh, I did like that they put the little corks on the sharp edges.
See, it's safe now.
No, I saw this dude sitting there reading a newspaper article next to an open flame with a creepy baby doll next to his head, and I was like, he wants to die? Is that the plan here?
Why did he turn off all the electricity? Like the flame seems like a bigger problem to me.
I agree.
I understand. Oh wait, no. Well, I mean, the electricity does come back, and it is a big problem. So he might have been wise to avoid it. Maybe he knew something we didn't.
The electricity comes back in a way that is... it's like they had to have something to fight. They couldn't just have the invisible design. They had to have something to fight. But the way that Clear Rivers decides to fight it when it's after her dog is to literally run outside and say, get away from him. As if it's an autonomous being who will hear her and move on. It's a live wire. She says, get away from him.
All right, it's a live wire.
There you go. I guess that's true.
And then they fight it with a shovel. That's how you battle these things.
So he figures out that he's not actually next. I don't remember how.
Did he?
Wasn't that when he?
Oh, it's when he figured out the moving the seats. Yeah.
Yeah, the moving the seats thing.
Yeah, but then there was a point where when he was running away from the cops through the woods to her house. I thought
this is before that. We're not there yet.
Well, now we are.
No.
All right, fine. Slow us down.
Because here's my point. He moves seats in both reality and the vision. So how does that even work that he's like, wait, what if I never move seats? But you had a vision of yourself moving seats. So it didn't change in reality. You didn't change that. You didn't cheat anything. That happened in the vision too. So what are you talking about? I don't get how he came to this moment of clarity. There was never a version of events where he didn't move seats. Because even in the reality, after he wakes up from the vision of it, he does move seats. He gives them the seats and runs up to sit next to his friend to check to see if the latch is broken.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so I just don't know there's no version for him to look at and say, but this wouldn't have happened. It happened every time. That's the part that bothered me, is like, you're reading into a design that you didn't affect. Like, the design should have included that you move seats because you move seats no matter what version we're in. Sorry, Pete, I know that didn't make any sense to you.
No, that's okay, because that was 6 weeks ago when I watched it.
That
so
can't
I don't
be
remember
6 weeks ago.
I don't remember any of that. Well, no, I saw the part when he started talking, like, oh, so I didn't move seats. I'm like, I don't remember that you did move seats or didn't move seats. It was so long ago, so I didn't pay any attention. I'm like, it's too complicated.
It was when he mentioned the checking the broken thing that it clicked for me, like, oh, yeah, he did. I see what you're saying.
He did it in both the vision he had. So things were going to play out the same whether he moves, because he always moves seats. There was no world where Death's design included him not moving seats, because it happened in the vision. So it bothered me that he's like, wait, I've solved something. It's like, what did you solve? It doesn't make any... whatever, it's fine. It's a movie. Now you can get to your thing about running through the woods, because I want to talk about how he escapes law enforcement by using a canoe.
He did use a canoe. Was it a lake or a river? What was it?
Well, it was a clear river.
Is that why she had a cabin on it?
That's why she lives near the river, yeah.
That makes sense.
I didn't remember that happened until this viewing, and it's something that feels impossible to forget. So I feel like it has to have been added later, because there's no way that 25 years ago I watched this movie and didn't think about how he got on a canoe to escape federal police and detectives to get to his girlfriend Clear River's house. There's no way I didn't think about it, like, every day of my life.
You know, that was how you got away from things in movies from the 80s and still in the 90s. There was just, they have to escape, and it was whatever means was available. Like, I assume it was something they had, like, left over on a movie set. It's like, we've got this golf cart, so they escaped in a golf cart. This time they had a canoe, and they're like, we're going to get away. You don't see that now anymore, though.
No, because it's a Looney Tunes cartoon.
That's exactly what it is. I missed that.
These police have watched him outside of people's houses who immediately died, and they let him escape on a canoe. That is white privilege through and through. Let me just say it.
Cop cars don't drive in the water.
They were on foot behind him. They could have shot him.
Did they ever show them armed?
I'm pretty sure I saw one of them with a rifle in that canoe scene. Just
really?
sitting there with,
In
with
my
the
version,
gun.
it was a walkie-talkie.
I understand that reference.
I don't remember that movie.
So you were getting to, he runs through the woods. He nearly dies a bunch of times, although he's just had a long scene explaining to us explicitly he's not next. So it's very low stakes.
That's what I thought it was. I thought, because again, not knowing what he had discovered or why it was relevant, I thought that they were, because I was trying to figure out which one of you was actually next. I thought maybe they were avoiding death and it just kept switching back and forth between the two of them.
But there's 3 people.
Right.
There goes my water. Yeah, I kind of thought that he was dead. I forgot he just walked away for a while.
Yeah, they get him out of the car, and they consider that intervening. Okay. I guess. I don't know.
And he was talking about something, how Alex said, I saw the seatbelt being cut in my vision, but I didn't see that.
But his vision, he can't remember moving seats?
I don't know.
It's what bothers me
It
about
seemed overcomplicated for my last viewing of the half hour that was left.
Alex tries to save Clear from the wire while she's stuck in a car, and he makes things so much worse at every turn, because now it's going to explode. She was safe enough in the car.
What did he do that caused it?
I don't know what he did to cause it, but like he gets like knocked over or something by the wire, and then like gasoline falls under the car, and then like lit dynamite falls next to the car. And I think at one point Bugs Bunny walks up and hands him an anvil. Like it gets out of control, and then he decides, I'm going to grab the wire. And he's like, the heroic moment, like you have to run. Which again, there's a third person here who might actually be the person on the clock at the time. I don't know. And he's like, I'll grab the wire. You got to run. And she's like, but I love you. And it's like, from when? I realize you're in high stakes and it's, you're in close proximity. When did this happen? It's been 3 days by my count.
Was it that? Was
It may be longer, but it feels like it's been 3 days. He's been mostly spending his time incorrectly solving a puzzle. When did they fall in love?
She was actually at the point she's calling him baby when
Every time she talked to him at the end, like, baby, you gotta wake up, baby, you gotta get out of here. And I'm like, when did this happen? Where's that movie?
Apparently it took place from when I first started watching it, and then I paused it. All of that happened.
This is the 6 weeks that he wasn't watching it.
Exactly. It's on a deleted scene, I imagine.
So
Do they make DVDs anymore?
Yeah.
Do they still have deleted scenes and audio commentaries?
I just gave up physical media years ago. I adopted digital.
I like all my old physical media.
I have a bunch that I don't use. It just collects dust.
Right? I keep them in my boxes because someday I might need it. Someday they're going to take away all of my videos that I own streaming.
Eventually, I'm just not going to be able to play DVDs anymore. Like, you can't. Like, unless you still have a VHS player, you can't watch a VHS.
I have my VHS player. I went out and got a new one.
They used to call them VCRs.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
So
They did.
the car explodes, knocking Alex back as he's holding electricity. He survives all this for some reason. But I guess the cops revive him. But he couldn't have technically died because what we learn in later movies is that if you die, it skips you. Unless he's still alive. They say in the second one that he died, right? In a newspaper clipping, maybe? Yeah. But like maybe he's just out there somewhere because it skipped him. That's how it should read, to be honest with you.
Maybe he'll pop up in...
Yeah, maybe. Because this is what I wrote. Well, the cops revive him, I guess. But he must never have technically died because dying and coming back is a way to cheat death and be free from the pattern. What we learned from 2, the movie that decides to kill him off screen. So if it wasn't that, you can't even say, well, it's a different movie, because that's the movie that shows that he died off screen and then said it skips you if you die and come back. I guess he didn't die. I don't know. But it's a good thing the police were following him because they save him. The whole thing is like, put him in handcuffs.
But so then the next scene where they kind of just skip to him being alive still.
Yeah.
First of all, what was it, like 6 months later or something like that they said?
Maybe.
Yes, it was.
And then...
You think it'd be like a year later. That would be...
Yeah.
6 months. And then they bring it up in case you couldn't read it when they put it up there. Yeah. They made mention of it. Would you believe if you had said 6 months ago that we were in Paris together?
I'm not surprised that they actually had that line in there because these people named her Clear Rivers.
But so like the Rube Goldberg device that kills off Carter?
Mm-hmm.
Was it meant for Carter or was it meant for...
Well, this is what I wrote. The 3 survivors head to Paris, and Alex thinks he might still be next because no one intervened to save him, which is bullshit. None of the 2 of them did, I guess, but the cops did, but that's fine. Then Clear keeps him getting hit by a bus, and a sign falls. And it's about to hit Alex when Carter saves Alex from the sign falling. So I don't know who started with it, but I think it has to end up being Carter no matter what because he's the last person to intervene. So if it was on Alex then it was always on Alex. This is like a fun game of logic. If it was Alex's, then Carter took it when she saved him. Or Clear took it when she saved him, right? So it wouldn't be, I guess it wouldn't be Carter then.
I am having so much fun.
Carter's the one who dies at the end of the movie. In theory, unless he has some like cool ninja chop to come and knock that sign down. They never show you. But if it's on Carter, then Carter gets it. If it's on Alex, then Carter gets it anyway, I would think.
Right.
And then if it was on, no, I guess Clear would have it. That doesn't make any sense. Because Clear saves him from getting hit by a bus. There's like a triple save going on at the end of the movie.
Well, so if it just is going in the order.
Yeah, I don't know who was
So
second.
it goes from Clear to Alex in the car scene with the wire.
Okay.
And then it's still on Alex.
So he has it for 6 months and nothing happens?
I guess.
Because the cameras weren't rolling, I guess.
But so it's presumably it's on Alex, but Clear saves him. The next order is Carter.
Okay.
Then
If Carter had it, then nobody took it from Carter in that last scene. If Clear had it, nobody took it from Clear either, right?
well, presumably Alex rushed to Clear because Clear had it right at the end of when he grabs the wire.
I know, but like it's 6 months later. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah.
They might have been accidentally slipping on ice and saving each other for 6 months for all I know. So I'm just trying to figure out when the scene starts. Alex thinks he has it, but he's been wrong the entire time, so I don't trust his vision on this at all. But if Alex had it, then Clear intervened and skipped him. So maybe Carter was next in the line. Fine. So I guess all three of them can end up with Carter. But if Clear had it to start the scene, nobody takes it from her. So I'm wondering if like the actual scene should end, because you shouldn't be able to die if it's not your turn. So I wonder if the actual scene will end with the thing just like hitting Carter and him going, "Huh, that was weird, didn't hurt at all," and walking away, and then Clear's head falls off.
You know what I just thought of? The perfect way to stop it would be to just do it out of order. Like, oh, Carter's supposed to die next, just like pop Claire in the face.
I think you wouldn't die. Doesn't one of the later movies do that? Like
Oh, I don't
somebody can't die because it's not their turn. I think that does happen. Maybe it's even the second one.
What do you mean they can't die? Like if they ate dynamite, it wouldn't hurt them?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, you could win a lot of money before you die.
Neat trick.
What would be the point? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that does happen at some point. They investigated this from every angle they could think of.
I'm planning on rewatching them now that we've talked about this. This
This is the most basic of the 5 movies. It really gets more in depth, and the lore gets bigger, and what they do with it it's even more fun. Like I said, the second one opens with that awesome scene on the highway. The third one is the roller coaster one. The fourth one is the auto racing one, which is the worst one. And the fifth one is a suspension bridge is falling apart. It's a pretty great one too.
So is death ever like an actual entity that takes part, or is it always just a thing that kills you?
Only just the way we see it with Big Head Todd, where water can recede back into the toilet and cords move with no.
You can fight him with a shovel, though.
This script was originally written to be an X-Files episode, I learned.
Oh.
And it's written by I think it's directed by an X-Files writer who liked this idea and was like, we have to make it into a feature, not a episode, because I think it's better than an episode. He was right. This franchise has made a lot of money, and they're making a 6th movie. It's been like 12 years, I think, since they made one, though.
I believe it.
I don't know that for sure, but it feels right. Like, I feel like 2003, like 2005. I think by 2013 they were done and wrapped it into a perfect circle. That's a band. Whose sound you might expect to hear in one of these movies, to be honest with you. And then now they're bringing it back with a dinosaur-based origin, according to Pete.
That would be pretty cool. How cool would that be, though? Like dinosaurs just escaping. Like, oh, that Triceratops just got away from that T-Rex.
The meteors are falling from the sky.
Right, but it misses them by that. But those 6 dinosaurs, oh boy.
Critics were mixed to negative on it, but our old friend Roger Ebert liked this one. Never know what you're going to get out of Roger Ebert. You never know. So I'd like to spend the rest of the episode trying to figure out why he liked it, but he doesn't like David Lynch movies.
Was there somebody in it he liked?
That's the first question you get. I think he was hot for teacher.
Yeah. I was going to say Ellie Lauder or Brent.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like the teacher.
Teacher was...
She was angry all the time.
The way she treats Alex at that funeral is, how did you get to be a teacher? Like, you should be thankful, if anything. But you're just like, you won't even look him in the eye, like, stay away from me.
It's weird because she seemed really super empathetic when they were getting off the plane, too.
Yeah, she did. But then she killed that other teacher.
Yeah.
And it made her bad. It broke her bad. That's exactly what happened. I cracked that code. I remember why I left this movie with a mid rating in my head. It is because of everything you guys just talked about. It got too murky and too confusing. It didn't help this time on my rewatch that I took a big break in the middle of it. But I remember it being confusing and annoying last time. But I do enjoy the people dying.
I'll be honest, it didn't really bother me until I sat here to talk about it. Watching the movie, I was just like, it's stupid. And I moved on.
That's just kind of how you have to watch it.
Yeah,
though.
because I was just excited to see like what kind of stupid death thing's going to happen next. And it was fun because every few minutes somebody hits by a bus and I'm like, I'm into it. I don't ask for much.
I guess I do.
Yeah. I don't know how or why.
I like things to be coherent and make sense.
I think it made sense. I just think that like it was an odd plot point to make it that he was wrong. Like, why have him spend the whole movie trying to solve the design if he's just going to be incorrect in doing it? That's a weird choice.
Why does it take 6 months off?
Yeah, why does it take 6 months
Because
off?
they acted as if it was done until she brought it up again. And then, what's his face? The jerk, Carter. He was like, oh, don't get him started. And she's like, stop it.
Carter's the most interesting character in this movie. He is an over-the-top Karate Kid style villain. And then he's like, did you know my girlfriend was going to die? And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, all right. And then they're like best friends. It's a very strange arc for Carter. I want to know more about his home life. I want to know more about his backstory. I would like a Carter prequel.
You might, oh, no, he's dead now. Never mind. I was going to say
Maybe.
you might get a Karate Kid-esque relaunch, but nope. Or not. He might have jumped out of the way.
I think that Devin Sawa's character could still be alive. I every time I leave the movie, I think the same thing. Like, that news report's wrong. He's cheating death by pretending he died.
I mean, that's a good way to go.
I think death should know better.
Fake the death.
Just he reads the obituaries every day. He's like, oh, must have got him, and moves on.
I have to edit that when you do that.
You'd think if death was so smart, they wouldn't make a design where a person would be able to, like...
Well, to be fair, he didn't solve it. I wish I could remember some of the other ways they attack this, because I think there's more than just, like, if you die. I think if you kill somebody, you might be okay, too. They might introduce that.
Oh, like if you murder somebody?
Yeah, life for a life.
Oh,
Death wants its balance.
I feel like that's right.
The Ring.
Yes. You ever see The Ring, Pete?
The original one?
What do you think the original one is
The
first?
Japanese one.
Okay. Did you see
No,
that?
I
Did you ever see
didn't.
the American one?
I think I saw that with you in the theater.
Boy, his early 2000s memory is unmatched.
I did. We also saw The Grudge in the theater.
I never saw The Grudge.
Yeah, we did.
No,
The
I've
remake.
never seen The Grudge.
Is that the one with Bill Pullman?
Yeah, I've seen the opening of The Grudge on TV, but I've never actually watched The Grudge.
I was in the theater with you.
No, he wasn't. So
was.
we've learned about it. I've never seen the movie.
Speaking of TV movies,
Why would I see that movie?
I don't know the answer to that.
You guys are going to love the last 10 minutes of Accountant 2.
Ooh. The movie's got great reviews, and I just laughed because I saw the trailer, and I was like, this movie makes way more sense than The Accountant did already.
I haven't seen the trailer.
But I was confused because it's a comedy.
It's a lot more focused.
Did you see The Accountant?
Yes.
You can never tell us what happens in The Accountant.
It's,
Did we get anywhere close to what's happening in that movie? No.
no, not
I'm glad to know that, honestly.
I thought I was pretty
six-
close.
It took us six rounds.
There's a couple of elements you're close on, but
It took us six
Man.
rounds to realize that Anna Kendrick was even at all connected to what was happening with John Lithgow. She said a name I'd never heard. I was like, maybe that's her name. You got to be honest. The end of that movie makes it difficult to understand what's going on. And if I watched the last 7 minutes of Final Destination, I would understand what's happening in Final Destination. That's why I keep going back to it. Like, I've never seen a movie that made less sense in the last 7 minutes. You catch the end of a movie, you might go away with like, oh, I get it. That looks pretty good. I watch that and I'm like, are these 6 different movies?
I'm really disappointed. I thought we were close. Like we had nailed.
I
a
assumed
good.
we were nowhere near it.
Oh man.
No, I assumed we were nowhere near it. And then when I saw the trailer for 2, I was like, I don't think we were close. I don't think we got anywhere close.
What the hell is that movie about?
I'll never know.
Oh,
I want to die not knowing.
I'm going to.
Me too. I'm going to die not knowing. I might watch 2 though. It looked like a fun time, honestly. I like John Barenthal, and I don't like Ben Affleck very much. But did you see 2?
yeah.
Is he mocking people with autism? That was the question I had with his, because half the trailer he's got a Batman voice, and half the trailer he's like, I need to talk like this because I have autism.
So he's not supposed to be, but you could maybe make an argument that Ben Affleck is.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I didn't think the accountant himself was. Although there was no There was no hint in the original 7 minutes I've seen that he even has autism.
I don't think he talked.
If there wasn't a random scene with characters not connected to anything else going on in the other 5 scenes we watched in an autism center, I wouldn't know that autism was a part of this story.
But
That's the only thing that gives away. But it's also the longest scene of the bunch, and it seems to be super important. And trying to connect that to anything else going on is a maddening thing to try to do. But that scene comes so out of nowhere in the context of the 5 minutes before it that it almost feels like there's nothing else about that in the movie. Like, it feels like that was just like, oh, my brother's in that scene. We got to put it in. All right.
if I remember correctly, none of the scenes have characters that interact with each other outside of the one scene that they're in.
The only connection from the last 7 minutes that I know that Ben Affleck has to Anna Kendrick is that I have to assume he sent her the painting because it immediately cuts to him after she opens the painting. That's all I've got. They're not in a scene together.
Exactly.
She's not in another part of the last 7 minutes of this movie. The only person he's in a scene with is John Barenthal and
Barenthal's not in any other Lithgow.
And John Lithgow. But John Barenthal's connection to Anna Kendrick or the autism place or J.K. Simmons or, as we learn in the credits, Jeffrey Tambor, I don't know. I don't know who he is. And with 7 minutes, the final wrapping up of your story, I should know. That's my argument. My argument is, as somebody who's read and written a lot of things, I should know the connections to John Barenthal and these people, John Lithgow and these people, Anna Kendrick and these people, autism and these people. I don't have a clue. J.K. Simmons and these people. None of it connects. Why is the Treasury Department looking into anything that has to do with an autism center, that has anything to do with John Lithgow's books that I think Anna Kendrick worked on, that has anything to do with what appears to be army people? Who are probably related from watching the trailer for 2. I don't understand. And what did Jeffrey Tambor have to do with it? I get farther away every time I think about it. Because even just now, I forgot J.K. Simmons was in the movie. It might be my favorite movie of all time.
We were so close, I thought.
I love how we did it right around David Lynch time, because nothing's ever been more Lynchian to me than the last 7 minutes of The Accountant. And I know if I go back one more minute, I'm going to learn something, and I refuse to do it.
No, you can't.
I refuse to do it.
Absolutely.
What were we doing today?
Guess what I got?
I got worked up again on the...
Is that construction paper?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you. I've got so much Nick Cage stuff, and I've also got the end credits. What do you want to have first, Mark?
End credits.
End credits. Ooh, good choice. All right. This one, it's something I've never seen before. They had a lot of trainees, like they're bringing up the next crop of movie people. They had a camera trainee, an accounting trainee, a trainee location manager, and an apprentice editor. I've never seen any of those titles in any other movies before, so
Interesting.
it was very interesting.
Don't play along with this.
What do we got here?
Oh, that interesting.
After Y2K didn't end the world, they were like, well, I guess we need more people to make movies.
There was a sign writer. I don't know what that job is, but
I know what that job is.
Sounds like writing
Mike
signs.
Shoring did it really well.
No, that was Patty's job from Jaws. When at the beginning he's like, "Where are beach clothes signs?" He's like, "We never needed any." He's like, "Have Patty do the lettering." He's like, and the deputy's like, "Why can't I do it?" He's like, "Have Patty do the lettering." We never have a backstory to that, but I know that the guy has shit penmanship.
All right. Ooh, this is something I've never seen. There were lots of Best Boys, and I don't give any of them credit, but there were Best Boy Greens on this one.
Oh my God! Is it Snoop Dogg?
No, it was Philip Lunt and Travis J.
Philip Blunt?
No, very close. The last one is just Travis J. Just the letter with the period.
Blunt and Jay were the best greens. You're being mocked now.
Best Boy Greens. Then here's another interesting thing. If you were on this set, you didn't want to get hurt because I've never ever seen the medics and first aid people.
I'm not laughing at you. I just got how funny my Urkel joke was. I didn't really spend time thinking about it. It just hit me that was actually really clever. When I do that.
That was good. Anyway, so
I hope it was on this recording and not the ones I already had to delete.
What is this? The third or fourth one?
I think the one you had to delete, I didn't get a chance to talk on.
All right. What was I saying? It was something fascinating. No, that's more of a question. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So anyway, the the first aid peoples had slashes. It was first aid / carpenter's helper, first aid / craft service. So I assume that whoever their medics were, had other jobs.
Yeah,
So.
I'm assuming people with other jobs had to be the quick medics if something happened. I think you're reading it wrong.
Quick, get the carpenter over. Tom's lost his leg.
In fact, my fear is they didn't have a medic, and that's why they have two people that were just closest by, grabbing severed fingers and things, and then having to get credited as first aid.
What else do I got? Oh, so for some reason, the Penthouse 1997 is at the very end of the credits.
Because he's looking through the penthouse. When he's in his room, Alex looks, I think, and then he sees a picture of Clear in the paper and then puts the magazine down as if he's disappointed with himself.
Was this in the first hour?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right, and here's another one. Maybe you guys can answer, because this is something I've noticed before, but I've never tried to wrinkle out the mystery. So you know how at the very, very end, they go Motion Picture Association of America, and it says numbers?
The Roman numerals?
No, not the Roman numerals, just a number. It'll be because this one was number 36987. Do all movies have different ones?
I'm guessing yes. I'm guessing that's how they're registered with the MPAA.
But this one was only 36,987.
Okay.
So I feel like there's more movies than that.
Pre-2000?
Yeah.
What was the number? 36,000?
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
I don't know.
I think we're okay.
Well, that one I'm going to keep. That's like a new little task I'm going to be doing.
Oh, good.
So look for future updates.
Next time you see...
I can't wait to see how little this comes up in the next 2.5 months of these episodes.
Next movie I watch, I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, see?
I don't think, because of the nature of how we did this, I don't think you're going to see another one of those until September.
I'm going to be paying real good attention.
We might get the Psycho 2 number on September 10th, but other than that, I feel like we're not going to hear it on a lot of episodes from this point on.
We'll find out. I know how to time travel. All right, that's it. That was my credit check. It's a pretty good credit check. There was more stuff going on than I thought in these credits. Sometimes they're real stinkers, Mark.
Very active credits.
Get the other shit out of the way.
What? All right, now I got to see. He called my Nick Cage stuff shit. Can you believe
It's
him?
rude.
I know, right?
Doesn't respect Nick Cage and
What
his
do I
greatness.
got? I got so many good ones. I don't even know. All right. Do you? Are you more? These are weighty decisions. All right, I got one. Ready? It's a Cage quiz, hot shot for both of you. Ready? Look how sad Brian looks. He's defeated because he knows how awesome this is. All right, and he knows that you're probably going to win. Do you guys know what his favorite fast food is? The Nicolas Cage we're talking about.
I don't. I mean, we've seen him at McDonald's several times in the 80s, but I don't know if that's still his favorite fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a specific brand or like a type?
A brand.
Ooh, I'm going to say Taco Bell.
Ooh.
I guess McDonald's, because, again, you stocked him at McDonald's in 1986.
You were really close, Mark. It's KFC. And the KFC and Taco Bell's. Yep. Well, because what he likes is a bucket of KFC original recipe with champagne. And that's what he gets himself every time a movie wraps as like his special treat for doing a good job. I guess his dad brought it to him once when he was 9.
Okay. Wow.
That's also how the Japanese celebrate Christmas. Maybe a little hint for Pete on future surprises to come for you. Remember, you got a big gift coming.
Yeah, but we just talked about how we've already recorded all of them. So now I don't know what I'm supposed to believe.
It's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah, so KFC, that's what he likes. I was fascinated to find that fact out, and I feel like I'm a better person for it.
Pete, as someone who threw a temper tantrum when The Crow took place 1 year later, but it was only 364 days, does it bother you to learn that this movie was called Final Destination and is the first of 5 movies so far, and a 6th movie to come?
For some reason, that gets a pass. But that really irritates me still.
Like, I think the Final Destination Bloodlines, cool name. There's one called The Final Destination, that's fine. But even just calling a movie Final Destination 2 feels wrong.
Well, they had the Never-Ending Story too.
That's right.
I think that's the one that broke me and made me prepared for everything else.
If they'd called it part 2, you wouldn't even bat an eyelash at it because it's going to go on forever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
I'd like to think they did.
But they didn't. I remember the trailer.
Just
All right. I'm a thumbs up on Final Destination. It was a fun hour and a half watch. Didn't bother me at all. It was over. I was like, yeah, it was kind of fun.
If you don't pay any attention to the nonsense that they spew and just watch people getting killed, it's all right. Pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree. It like I said before, it starts out a little ham-fisted, but I think once you get into the meat of the movie, it's quite enjoyable.
So your problem's at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Your problem's in the middle of the movie. And my problem comes at the end of the movie when he's trying to sort out how he screwed up the plan. You know what? It's got something for everybody. I know. I liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing a new one. It's been too long, I think, to go without one of these because they were coming like every 2 or 3 years for a decade. Which is about what I do too. Anybody got anything else? Not on your piece of paper.
These are important Nick Cage facts I found out that I got to keep because I got some good ones on here, but I couldn't find my notebook, which has all my real Nick Cage facts. So I had to find these.
I've been trying to figure out what's going on in this poster on the wall behind you, Brian. For this
Everyone
entire...
talks about these posters.
See?
This girl's like a pirate with blue dreads.
You don't know who the descendants are? Oh, Mark. The girl with the purple hair, that is, I think...
Is that Dove Cameron?
Yeah. It is. She is... Who's that witch? Maleficent. That's Maleficent's daughter.
Oh, okay. I thought that was...
Uma has the hat. She is Ursula's daughter, the sea witch.
is that why she's got the long dreads to, like, symbolize her tentacles?
I guess so. No, who's that guy in the back? He's somebody's kid. Oh, you know what? I think he's that hunter's kid.
Huntsman?
From fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Gaston?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, these are villains, right?
Who is she over there with the blue hair? She's Snow White's, the evil witch from Snow White's daughter.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them. There's some kid. He's not there, but...
Wait, wouldn't that make her a princess? Because she's the evil queen.
Maybe. They all have royalty, but they were stuck on an island.
They look pretty friendly.
Well,
for the most part.
All the villains were stuck on an island, and all the good people got to go to like good people school in this land. And these bad guys finally get on some kind of exchange program. They get to go to the good school with all the sons and daughters of the heroes, and they sing about it all the time.
Oh, interesting. So it's
There's like 4 movies of it.
okay.
3 maybe.
I'm glad you know all that because it was just a little creepy. You have pictures of 12-year-olds on your wall.
Look what the one has written on her shirt. The one with the heart.
FUK?
Yeah.
Who was practicing their penmanship over there? You?
No, that was Sam.
It's too high up for it to be Sam. He's only about this tall. I don't think so.
I need to. No, nope.
I investigated him harder than the people in this movie investigated the guy saying a plane was going to explode. Their entire arc, I'd want to watch the movie from their perspective. Their entire arc is just getting more and more evidence that it's him, and then their only resolution is they save his life.
And then let him go.
And then let him go again.
Right, 'cause
And back on a
it's-
plane. Back on a plane. He's not even on the no-fly list after that.
Well, there wasn't a no-fly list yet.
I'm pretty sure there was. It just was harder to get onto, I guess. Yeah,
Maybe they let him on
Clearly.
that plane to see if he tried to blow up another one.
The investigation stalled.
the real premonition here. The real premonition here was just about like how airline safety needs to be changed. So this is basically saying 9/11 was an inside job to get the change in the.
Was it before or after 9/11 when that person tried to like bring liquid onto the plane with his shoe and blow it up? Remember, then we all had to take our shoes off for a while.
I don't remember. This might surprise you. Haven't been on a lot of planes.
It does not surprise me.
Do not like air travel. This movie didn't do anything to change that for me.
I like to watch the movie Airplane when I'm on airplanes.
Well, that one lands.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
It does go through some crisis, though.
do people watch this while they're on airplanes? It seems like a movie that you should do it for.
I know that like the movies that are on shown by planes never have stuff like this. They would never show this movie on the plane.
What did I watch when I was on the plane?
Dune
that's
Part
right.
2.
No, yeah, Dune Part 2, but I think I watched National Treasure the last time I was because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, it's good to get us some sleep on the plane.
What are you talking about? I was like, oh, this is incredible. I almost watched Part 2, but that's longer. And I ran out of time on the flight. Also, it wasn't one of the movies listed. So that's why I didn't watch it.
Okay. I don't know what next week is. It's either our summer spooktacular preview episode or a top 10 episode with our foreign correspondent. It depends on which one of our guests gets on the mic first.
Mark did.
That's right. That's why this one first.
Yeah, you're first.
I got 2 more I got to get done in May, and I don't know which one's going to happen first.
Ken hasn't been on in a while.
No, I know.
No.
It's been lovely.
Hey. Oh, he's coming back with a top 10 list. I'm going to have a top 10 list too.
We're going to do the top 10 horror comedies of all time.
Ooh, that should be fun.
Top 10 pieces of pizza I ate.
I'm going to be interested to see which ones on his list aren't actually comedies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I wrote down all the things he had last year. He had about 30 movies on his top 10 list. Not all of them. They're supposed to be the top 10 horror movies of the 21st century. 4 of them weren't from the 21st century. A handful of them weren't horror movies.
Yeah.
Some of them were things he hadn't seen before. One just says Jordan Peele.
It's a comprehensive list, see. I don't know how you guys get everything down to 10. I'm going to get it down to 10.
I got it down to 10 within 30 minutes of starting the exercise.
10, the top 10 comedy horror of all time?
Yeah, and we have to weigh a lot of things here because, spoiler alert for my list, I took something like Ghostbusters and said
Ooh,
it
that's
can't
a
be
good
on the
one.
list because it leans too heavy into the comedy for me. It's a comedy with horror elements. I wanted like horror movies that are funny. Now, you can do it however you want to do. Ken will do it however he wants to do it. I had a list of things that I was like, that's not making the list. Like, I think This Is the End is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And it's got obvious horror stuff going on. But it's not a horror movie. So I was like, no, it's just a comedy. I'm leaving it in a separate list. So my movies are all horror movies, except arguably the first one, are all horror movies that I count as horror comedies.
So you're just wrong
Okay, that's fine.
to start with. Your whole list is
We'll
wrong.
get to your list, and you'll have things on there that aren't even movies. Because one of the movies he had on his list, I looked it up, I could not find it. It didn't exist. He made up a movie.
I don't put that past me.
I have it here. I'm not gonna read your whole list. I'm just gonna read that one one thing you put
Tell
down.
me. Let me see if I can remember this movie. 'Cause I probably saw it.
I couldn't find it on the internet, but I'm sure you saw it. Remember the trailer at least.
Of course.
The list was the top 10 horror movies of the 21st century. And Pete's... Oh, I didn't put it on here. Shit.
Who's the dumb one now?
It's me. We had Ghost Dad, which was a comedy from 1990, starring Bill Cosby. He had Ghost Cat, Ghost Dog, Ghost Train, Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, which is a non-horror movie from 1999.
He forgot the colon again.
He had The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, which was a comedy with Don Knotts from 1966.
That's a good one.
And he had a movie called Ghostland, which does not exist.
Ghostland's real.
Ghostland is not a myth.
Ghostland is not a myth.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it. The closest thing I could find was a Nicolas Cage movie called Prisoners in a Ghostland or something like that. And I think he just tried to sneak that one in there.
Maybe
I'm trying to decide if he just searched ghost or just put ghost plus pronoun.
You know what movie
like a
didn't
Mad
make,
Lib.
You know what movie didn't make that section of 10 movies with ghost in the title? Ghost.
that wasn't in this millennium.
Neither was Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai or Ghost and Mr. Chicken or Ghost Dad. He had Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship's a good one.
I didn't even need the list. I'm haunted by your stupidity sometimes.
See, so it was a pretty good inclusion in my list last year.
I assumed like half of them weren't from the 21st century, so I went through every one of them, and that's when I got stuck on Ghostland for about 45 minutes, and I said, this movie isn't real. I tried it with a space. I tried it without a space. It just isn't real. It's not a real movie. It was rejected by the Internet Movie Database. The literal database created to collect movies said no.
Yeah, so I got high hopes for this next list I'm gonna make.
Well, I know what like his favorite horror comedy is because it's come up so many times on this podcast, and it definitely counts. It's definitely right, no matter how you want to shape it. Like it's not too far one way. It's definitely a horror comedy. It's Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him
what he was
when he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to make a list too." I said, "Well, yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil." He goes, "I don't know if that's going to make the top 10." And I just stared at him like, "You haven't shut up about this movie for 2.5 years."
I was thinking Monster Squad.
Monster Squad is definitely a horror comedy.
That is that's a coming of age tale. More like an instructional, like how to guide than I think movie.
I don't disagree.
Psycho Gorman.
That's a horror comedy.
Yep.
There's just so many things that when I was going over my list, I realized that like Pete enjoyed all of the movies. So I thought that's a perfect one to do a top 10 for. And I can't wait to see what we get because it's probably going to be a disaster. If Ghostland doesn't make another appearance, just because now it's like the last 7 minutes of the accountant for me. I want to learn only slightly more about it, but if it's a horror comedy, it gives me a little bit closer.
Man, what horror comedies am I going to pick? So many.
All right, well, we'll find out either next week or the week after, depending on what order we do these in. I have both of them ready to go. I have a summer preview ready to go. I got top 10 horror comedies ready to go. You don't have to do anything but sit there for both of them. I don't even care if you make a list, honestly. It's more about Ken makes the list, and that's fine.
I'll call Mark and have him tell me movie names again, because that was working. I was like wishing I had a pen here to start writing some of these titles down. I lost it.
Oh. It's there by your feet.
But it fell in the puddle of water when I spilled it from my water bottle, so now it's all wet and it won't write correctly.
So look forward to that list next week. We're going to close down this shit show for another week. Thank you for being here, Mark.
Anytime.
Thank you for being here, Pete.
I live here.
Yes, that's right. Thanks for opening the door.
I stepped in the puddle and now my sock's all wet.
That's the worst.
The number of times it's happened to him, I would say, per week is stunning. Because this has come up recently when he's like, and it must have just happened to him because on a very recent thing we recorded that hasn't come out yet, he said, it's like, oh yeah, like when you have a slight hole in your shoe and your sock just gets damp. Maybe he said it earlier on the podcast. Your sock just gets damp, but not all the way wet. That's the worst. It just happened to get in real time.
The worst.
Speaking of the worst, we'll be back next week with something. I don't even know what. I can't wait to find out. We'll check on the dampness of Pete's sock next week.
Ongoing saga.